Okay, it's time to continue. Don't forget to activate your cameras again. All right, how was the break?
It
Good,
was
good.
so quickly.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't need longer breaks. I mean, we have 2 more sessions to go. So now it's time to talk about using practice activities to consolidate learning. So what kind of activities can we use in our English classes to consolidate learning? Well, let's talk about games. Now, there are 2 different kinds of games. As you can see on the slide, we have competitive games in which players or teams race to be the first to reach the goal. And we have cooperative games in which players or teams work together towards a common goal. Now, let me ask you a question. Which of these games do you use in your classes? Competitive games, cooperative games, or both?
In my case, competitive.
Why do you use competitive games?
Okay, because I think the student like to compete, like to win.
Mhm.
Hey,
Well, honestly speaking, not all students want to win. I mean, yes, most of them want to win, and but not all of them. There are some students who want to, um, they don't want to participate, right? Because uh, either they don't want to lose the game, or they have the feeling that if they win, they could be like the weirdo of the classroom, right? So we need to be very careful, guys, when you use games in the classes, mostly because there are some children or students who are very emotional. And believe me, sometimes they take games very seriously. So you need to be very careful if you're using games in your classes. So consolidating learning. Variety is important. In language teaching, there, playing games on the same principles might bore students with time. In the following slides, you will find some different kinds of games that can be played in the classroom to reinforce either a language structure, vocabulary, or a skill. First activity, information gap activities. Guys, do you use information gap activities in your classes? Do you know what is an information gap activity? Well, look at the pictures. Have you seen these activities where one student, A, has some information and student B has uh, other kind of information, and they need to speak, they need to interact in order to complete the information that is missing? Have
Yes,
you seen these activities in your books?
yes, teacher. I just have an experience with this kind of
Mm,
activity that, well, this was
mm,
not familiar to me,
mm.
but then I realized that it's a part of from the movers exam. So I
Yeah.
need to know this, of course, to let them know how to, maybe they, as you said, they are
Mm,
interacting because one is going to ask questions and
mm.
the other has information in the other, I mean, in the other page, right? So they, it's like an interaction, and both of them is a little bit, I mean, has a relation with our part when we are speaking with to the CAE. and the other is I'm letter A and the other is letter B. So then we exchange roles. But of course, this is for the kids, right? But yeah,
Right.
it's nice.
What skills do you think were reinforced when you use information gap activities?
Speaking.
Definitely speaking, right?
And
Because
it's for flyers. I suppose it's flyers.
Right. Because the only way to complete the gaps is by speaking, by communicating. You cannot complete the gap activities if they don't talk, if they don't speak. So they have to speak in order to complete every activity, right? Now, another activity, guys, matching games. This is one of my favorite. So let me ask Teresa to read the information. Teresa, please read the information.
Okay, teacher. Matching games. These games involve matching identical pairs of cards or pictures and may be played as a world-class activity where everyone must circulate until they find a partner with the same card or picture,
Right.
or as a pair for all small group activity, where players must choose pictures or cards from the selection to match those chosen by their partner from the same selection.
Right, right. This is also called like a memory game, right? Where you have different cards and students have to pick the cards that match the first card that you chose, right? So basically you have to find the matching cards. What kind of what could be the reason to use matching games? What part of the language are you reinforcing if you use matching games in your classes? Are you reinforcing grammar?
Grammar.
It depends, teacher. Matching games,
Vocabulary.
you decide. You decide if you want to increase, maybe you reinforce vocabulary, you put the
Vocabulary.
yeah.
So yeah, it depends. You can actually reinforce many things, but mostly vocabulary, right? Because you have in one picture, in one card, the picture, the image of the object. And then on the other card, you have the name of the object, right? Which could be, I don't know, maybe the picture of the apple. And then in the other card, you have apple in the written form, right? So they need to match and find the cards that match the picture and the name. So mostly vocabulary. This is a great activity, guys, for to reinforce vocabulary, matching games. What about this one? Puzzle solving activities. These occur when participants in the game share information in order to solve a problem or mystery. Question, do you use these activities in your classes?
I don't use this activity.
Okay.
Teacher,
Question.
I use something similar that I discovered my kids like, you know that game ahorcado that you just give them some letters, so they try to remember the vocabulary, try to remember the words that they need. So yeah, it's interesting.
Great. But let's pay attention to this activity, puzzle solving activities. Like, what for? What could you use this activity for?
To combine our sentences with pictures and letters.
Do you think your students will like to work with these activities or not?
Yeah, because it's challenge. Yes, they like it.
Do you think students love mysteries?
Yes.
Of course, yeah.
Of course. Everybody loves mysteries, right? So, and it's a perfect activity to improve and boost your students' vocabulary again. vocabulary, right? So, yeah. And what about this? TPR, total physical response. Have you heard of this term before? Total physical response. Perhaps more than one time, huh? Well, Pamela, can you read the information, please? Pamela, are you there? Well, maybe not. Erica?
Hi, teacher. Total
Yes.
physical response. Total physical response, TPR, is a
Yes.
method that was developed by James Asher in the late 1960s
Yes.
with the goal of helping students are this part I can see acquire a second language. The main assumptions of that second language can be learned in the same way as the first through the same natural process. So TPR tries to mimic this process by requiring students to respond to commands, okay, which in turn require physical movements. Sorry. Naturally, this method was embraced by ESL teachers back then, but is it
Still quite popular today.
Very popular today, particularly when teaching children of beginners.
Right. So what is TPR, guys? TPR, or total physical response, it's a good method to teach not only kids, but also teenagers and even adults. I use this in the language center where I used to work for. So it's not only for children, guys, but I would say it's for every person, every kind of a student. So basically what you do is you make the students move, right? For example, if you're teaching them imperatives related to classroom language, you can say, stand up, and then the students stand up. Sit down, and then the students sit down. Open your books, and then the students open their books. Close your books, and then the students close their books, right? So the idea is to, using their bodies, gestures, body language, they need to follow the instructions, right? And advantages of using total physical response. Please, Pamela, can you read the information?
Sorry, advantages. ESL activities with TPR, total physical response, are a lot of fun for students. It is because children are not self-conscious about moving their bodies around the classroom. That these activities are excellent ways to get young learners up and about. Although they require more out of teachers, physically speaking, they require less preparation. Finally, activities with TPR are great for kinesthetic learners.
Nice.
Who need more actions or hands-on activities.
Correct. Number one, remember that in a classroom, we usually have different kinds of learners. We have visual learners, which means students learn when they look at a video, when they watch a video, when they look at the picture. We also have auditory learners, which means students who prefer to listen to things, listen to music, listen to a set of instructions, listen to story. But we also have something called kinesthetic learners, which means these are the type of learners who learn through movement. They learn through movement. So they need to move, they need to stand up, they need to walk around the classroom, they need to jump, they need to hop. So yeah, I mean, these activities are perfect for those kind of people, right? And you can take advantage of these. Now, how can you use this in the class? Well, I'm going to show you one I have here. This is my platform of Ferris wheel. And as you can see, we are going to check the, we have another person here. Let me check, who is it? Okay. All right. So we have a username who is numbers. Hello, who is the numbers username?
Sorry, teacher, it's me. I have some issues with my mobile. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, who is it? Who is it?
It's Sheila, Daniela.
Oh,
Sorry,
Sheila. Okay, yes,
Thank
Sheila.
you.
I
Thank
just got scared when I saw the numbers.
Sorry.
I
It's
thought
my
you
new
were
laptop.
a Chinese or a Thai person or something like that.
My apologies, teacher.
No, it's
sorry.
okay. It's okay. So guys, let's imagine that you want to use TPR in your classes and you need to use the song Five Little Monkeys, which is one of my favorite songs, to teach numbers, right? And so how can you teach this using TPR? Well, I'm going to show you guys a short video, and actually the teacher herself will teach that, I mean, how to use the movements, right? Because in some part of the lesson, I mean, in one part of the song, she will use specific movements that perhaps children love to use. But the main idea of this song is to remember the numbers, right? We have numbers, we have vocabulary related to animals, we have crocodile and monkeys. We have adjectives like little, hungry. And well, anyway, let's take a look at the video and check this out.
Five little monkeys sitting in a tree.
Right.
Shout to Mr. Crocodile, you can't catch me. Along comes Mr. Crocodile, hungry as can be.
Snap.
And snap!
Well, and then they continue with four little monkeys sitting on the tree, right? And then it's the same mechanics. It's very repetitive, but you can see the movements, right? I mean, you can see the children in the video moving. When the teacher says, I'm hungry, so you use your body language, yeah, right? I mean, you rub your stomach. And this is what children like, right? This is what children love doing, moving. They want to move. And you can use this in your classes. Now, let me show you a perhaps more academic video. I mean, that was the video from the book. But what about TPR in action? Like, let's watch this video for interesting TPR ideas. This is a video from this teacher who actually is, I mean, this video is issued by Cambridge University. It's not just any kind of video, but it's a very interesting video where you can extract plenty of ideas about how to use TPR in your classes. And remember, we don't use TPR only for children, teenagers, but also for adults. Yes. So this is the video, and let's take a look at this.
Hello. Okay, now we're going to do a little story, okay? Now, you do it with me, okay? You do it with me. Now, say hello to your mom. Hello. Say hello to your mom. Hello. You are hungry.
A TPR sequence is demonstrated. The children listen and do the movements accordingly. The sentences are repeated several times. In the beginning, it's important to maintain the order. The children learn to understand the meaning of the sentences with the help of mimes, gestures and drawings on the board. Doing the movements themselves is an important memory aid.
Show the plum to your mom. Your mom says,
Soon, the children can make the movements on their own and in a different order.
say hello to your mom. Your mom says, eek. Say hello to your mom. Your mom shows you some plums. Your mom says, eek. Eek. Okay? Say hello to your mom. You are hungry. Your mom shows you some plums. Cut open a plum. Show the plum to your mom. Yes. Your mom says, eat. Very good. Okay, you listen to the CD and you write the numbers. Here we go.
Say hello to your mom.
Hello.
It's 1.
2. You're hungry.
The children listen to the sentences from the CD. They write the numbers by the pictures in their book. Afterwards, they compare their results.
And here?
6.
6. And the last number here?
2.
2. Yes.
All right. What do you think? Interesting? Have you seen the video before? No. Okay. Do you think the teacher did a good job? Hello? Do you think the
Yes, I
teacher
think-
really used TPR ideas in his classroom?
He catch,
It is
he
excellent for
caught his attention, their attention, and they do movement.
Right.
and the students
Milagros?
enjoy doing this.
Right. Uh-huh. Now, when you're using TPR, something important is to use the right tone of voice as well, right? You could raise the tonality of your voice. You can lower it to make it more interesting. Because if you only say hello to your mom, you're hungry. So it's not, you're boring, right? I mean, you need to sound interesting. So you need, like the teacher itself, right? I mean, the video you saw. So you need to use the right intonation, if you will. Like, for example, you're hungry, and then you start rubbing your stomach, right? And then you say, show the plum to your mom. And then you make this gesture, right? So it's very important to use the right tonality, intonation when you are using TPR ideas. It's not only movements, but also the body language, your gestures, and the tone of your voice. Very important. The idea, guys, is to make it interesting, not to make it boring, right? Great. Okay. Next, let's talk about role play. And I think this is what students in general love to do, role play. What is role play and why is it important to use this in classes? Cindy, go ahead, please. Could you read the information?
Role play. Incorporating role play into the classroom adds variety, a change of pace and opportunities for a lot of language production and also a lot of fun. It can be an integral part of the class. If the teacher believes that the activity will work and the necessary support is provided, it can be very successful.
It can be very successful, of course. Now, let's talk about what is role play and how you can use it in your classes. So, what is role play? Well, let me ask Milagros to read information. Milagros.
Role play is any speaking activity when you either put yourself into somebody else's shoes or when you stay in your own shoes but put yourself into an imaginary situation. Imaginary people. The joy of role play is that students can become anyone they like for a short time. Students can also take on the opinions of someone else. Imaginary situations, functional language for a multitude of scenarios can be activated and practiced through role play.
Right. Let me ask a question. In your classrooms, have you seen these students who pretend to be dinosaurs?
Yes.
Have you seen these students who pretend to be robots or superheroes and they start jumping or running around the classroom? Well, this is the reason why role play is very useful in the classes, right?
Nowadays they say I'm a zombie. Because of the game, zombies, Plants vs Zombies, like that.
You see, and we can think
Yeah.
we can take advantage of these guys because this is useful after you share a story. Like for example, let's imagine we studied
Sometimes
the
I
Wizard
say
of
I'm a
Oz.
zombie too, and I start playing.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, you need to be part of the game too. So let's imagine you are teaching the story. I mean, you finish teaching the story of the Wizard of Oz, right? And in this story, there are some characters. We have the lion, we have the girl. I don't remember the name of the girl. We have the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, the wizard, and the witches. So after you finish all the activities related to the story, you can say, all right, guys, now it's time for the role play. But I need some actors and actresses. I wonder who would like to be the wizard. Anyone would like to be the wizard? And maybe you could bring a hat of a wizard or something like that, right? So that you can make it more interesting. Or maybe one boy can say, okay, I volunteer. I want to be the wizard. Perfect. Come here to the front. You are the wizard. Great. Okay, I need a witch. Who would like to be the witch? Okay, me. I want to be the witch. Perfect. Come here, please. Okay, I need a lion. Who wants to be the lion? Me, please. Okay, and then you make them go to the front. And well, in this case, you give each student a role. Also, you need to provide them with the language. It's not only being actors and then do nothing. No, is you need to give them the language, the phrases, the expressions so that they can use in the role play. We're going to talk about that later, but it's not only the roles, but also the language they need to use when they are acting out. Okay, and here, for example, we have a very interesting activity. The activity is called We're All Frogs. Frogs, the animal. Okay, let me ask Giovanna to read the information. Giovanna, read please the information from top to bottom.
Yes, we're all frogs. Children love imitating animals. In this activity, children have to color and decorate their own frog and write their names on the frog's tummy to hang it later around their necks. Introduce the words hop, jump, swim, frog, and ask them to imitate frogs doing those actions.
Right.
Then read out the conversations to the kids using pictures or puppets. Frog, A. Hello, Flo. What's your name? I am. And you? I am. How old are you? I am. Do you like? Yes, I do. Okay, let's. Choose two children and ask them to act the conversation. In this conversation, children choose whether they like swimming, jumping, hopping, or croaking. After choosing an action, the conversation, tell children to group together according to what they like doing. All groups stand up and start performing the action they have chosen.
Right. So like I said before, it's not only acting and asking your students to pretend to be frogs. By the way, students love to be animals. My son pretends to be a dinosaur sometimes. So that's cool. But also giving them the language, the phrases, expressions they need to use. Because it's not only, okay, you're a frog, and then what? What's the purpose? So you need to tell them, all right, guys, so now let's pretend you're all frogs. I'm a frog too, all right? And now this is the language you need to use. We're going to work in pairs. The people on the left will be students A, the people on the right will be student B. Well, look at the board or look at the projector. These are the phrases that you need to use. In the gaps, you need to complete with your own information. So first, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to fill in the blanks. Then you will go to the front and role play. Are you ready? Let's do it. And they start acting out. Well, and this is the power of role play. Every kind of a student loves to role play. Adults too, because in adults, of course, when you're teaching adults, you're not going to tell an adult, oh, you're a frog. Adults don't like that, of course not. Or maybe yes, I don't know. I have never tried this. But in the case of adults, if you're teaching in a language center, you can make it more professional. Like, for example, imagine a restaurant, right? And you're teaching food, and you're teaching them how to ask for food in a restaurant. Well, typical role play, one person is the waiter and the other person is the customer. The customer needs to ask for the food according to the menu of the restaurant. The waiter needs to answer the question or ask questions to the customer. And you need to pretend that you're at a restaurant and you need to have a conversation. Well, students like that because sooner or later, adults will face a similar situation. So they are encouraged by doing this. Great. So that was role play. Do you use role plays in your classes?
Okay, teenagers teachers dramatize. They like dramatize, like a plan lectora, you say, in English also?
Yes.
This
Reading comprehension, right?
Yeah, reading comprehension. This time they're going to perform in November. They're going to perform Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, a Christmas Carol, and Robin Hood. Imagine.
Right.
They like it and they like to be, yeah.
Yes. The thing is that students like to be the center of attention. They like to be in the spotlight, and this is the perfect way to do this, right? Because they are in the front, everybody's looking at them, and they like it. Now, not everybody likes to be on the spotlight too. There is always one or two people who are kind of shy, introvert, and these are the kind of people you need to help them with, right?
Yeah.
By giving them more instructions or giving them more phrases to use.
Yes, they don't want to, teacher. I want to tell you something very important. Teenagers, no, they don't want to continue the class. No, miss, let's play. No, I can do the play. So they don't want to do nothing. They want to perform.
Yes, that's true. All right. Now here we have another activity. It's time for the workshop, guys. It's time for you to work. This is not only me talking, but you doing and learning from your peers. So in the next activity, you have 10 minutes to work on this task. This is a page taken from the book Gateway to the Word. The book is on the right, Gateway to the Word. This book is meant for teenagers. Teenagers, we're talking about people who are between 10 to 15 years old, okay? So it's a good book, by the way, by Macmillan too. Okay, anyway, this is unit 4 and it's vocabulary again, and the topic at home, rooms, parts of the house, right? So let me ask you a question. How would you use TPR, total physical response, to teach the rooms? Let me, don't tell me the answer. Don't tell me the answers. I'm gonna give you some minutes to discuss it in your groups. How would you teach this? And is it possible to use TPR in this exercise? I mean, to teach the class? Let me number one, let me take a screenshot of this and drop it in the chat box. Okay, that's number one. Number two, let me type the questions, okay? How will you teach this? How will you teach this? And would you use TPR to teach this? How would you use it? So the screenshot of this page is in the chat box, and the 2 questions are in the chat box too. As usual, you get together in groups and you exchange ideas, okay? Join the groups. Okay, welcome back. Good. So, how will you teach this vocabulary in your classes? The vocabulary is rooms, house, parts of the house. How will you teach it? And if you can use TPR, how will you use it? Volunteers.
Maybe saying to students, I'm sorry, Pamela raised her hand.
No, go ahead, Milagros, and then we go with Paola.
Okay, I was thinking that maybe I said to students, I'm going to act and you have to guess where is the place, no? Something like that. So I start doing different movements. Yes, and they guess what is the action, what is the place in a house, maybe it's possible.
So you mime that you're if you were
Yeah.
cooking, and they have to guess that you're in the kitchen.
Like charade, something like that.
Okay, that's good. Pamela?
Yeah, with Giovanna Villar, we have lots of ideas, and one of them was Milagros mentioned. And the other one was that spelling, for example, we made a line, and each student has to write the letters from the word, but they have to get first. For example, I say, okay, in this room, I can take a shower, wash my hands, brush my teeth, something like that. And they run, and the first student run and write the first letter, and then the second one, the third one, in that case. In that way.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah. So that's a game. It's a competitive game. Don't forget that when you use games in the class, you need to be very careful with that, because some students, when they lose, they don't feel well. So yeah, just for the record. Okay, another thing that maybe you guys can do is, and I saw this from one of my colleagues, is especially in a language center, right? So, and especially if you're teaching, if this is one of the first classes of the students, so the first time that they are in the institute or schools, you can take them on a tour of the building, right? So you invite all the students to leave the classroom and you walk with them. It's like if you were the tour guide and they are the tourist. So you walk around the building And then you say, all right, guys, now I am your tour guide. You are the tourists. I'm going to show you all the facilities of this building. First, look at on your left. You can see the bathrooms. These are the bathrooms of the men and the women. Now follow me, please, to the second floor. You climb up the stairs, you go to the second floor, and you say, all right, on the left hand, we can see the cafeteria. Here, you can drink your coffee and get a sandwich if you want to. Then over there, you can see the coordination office. Well, the coordinator works there. And this is the teacher's room where we all teachers get together. Now follow me, please, to the fourth floor. You climb the stairs and you say, all right, now here you can see, and then you continue. I mean, you see the point, right? So by doing this, students are moving, right? I mean, they are not sitting down and they're learning with you, right? I saw this with one of my colleagues at work and it was amazing. Of course, if you want to do this, you need to coordinate this with your supervisor, right? Usually your coordinator or the principal of the school, because sometimes you need to ask for permission. Yes, you could ask them, excuse me, can I do this in my class to teach this? And if you get the permission, I mean, you can do it. Yes.